Oh, God. Hello.
Zach's retweeting my tweets.
Is Zach retweeting stuff? Should I?
The lights are awesome in here. There we go.
Great light. Should we? Do you want to look around this way here?
Let's work on this. Hold on. Hold. Pause. We gotta rearrange.
All right.
Okay. All right. People are showing up.
Do we have people showing up? All right. I'm gonna get on the Twitter thing and I'm gonna try to
Okay.
retweet it.
You retweet. I'll try not to.
Hello.
Oh, hold on. We gotta.
Oh yeah.
Get the drinks in
Hey, bourbon. Well, actually, scotch today. All right.
What's up?
Where are
Hi,
you
people.
at? Ah, hello. Welcome to UCB Day at the ballpark.
So normally, you get me or Kyle.
Yeah. Hi.
Today you get both of us at the same time.
I do the weird stuff. She does the normal stuff.
I don't know about normal.
Look at this guy.
But
Does
hey,
anyone in there
look.
need a refill?
Does anyone need a refill? Anyone? Anyone? Hey, Gary.
No. People ask questions.
Yeah, ask us questions.
Yeah, ask
so
us-
we just had a lovely chat with Mr. John Mozeliak himself, who is kind enough to tolerate our questions.
Yeah. Sort of. He gave Daniel some slack and
He did. Sorry, my dad's texting me.
Oh, hey, Dad.
Not about the Periscope.
Does he have a question for us?
No. Well, so funny story. Bill DeWitt was talking about how he thinks shifts should not be a thing in baseball.
Ah.
My dad has said that for years.
Ooh.
So I texted my dad and I was like, you have a new hero in baseball because Mr. DeWitt also does not like shifts in baseball.
And I like his idea too. He talked about making sure that if you had to shift, you had to make sure that you had equal people on the left side as the right side of the infield.
Right.
I thought that was super interesting.
Graham, you are not wrong.
Oh no, what's Graham saying?
Legendary duo.
Oh yeah, no, this is as legendary as it gets in the Cardinals blog
Yes.
sphere.
Do I like soccer? Not really.
Oh, sure, let's talk about soccer. That makes a lot of sense.
I'm actually at a baseball game.
Hey, baseball.
In case you can't see that at all. See, nope. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah.
But trust me, we're at a baseball game.
It's raining out there, so we're inside, and there's also drinks and food in here, and the food in here is incredible.
The food's amazing.
The head chef is the funniest man alive too.
I haven't had one yet this year, but the bacon wrapped hot dogs
Ooh, they're right there.
always. Can you see the food? Yeah, delicious. Only 50. Well, share it on Twitter, Graham. Get to sharing.
Yeah, share that thing, brosif.
So we just got to talk to Mo, asked him a bunch of questions, talked to Mr. DeWitt, asked him a bunch of questions. Zach, who bailed on us for the Periscope,
Zach
is sitting outside.
Yeah.
And
Zach, by the way, Zach got to talk to Michael Gersh. Gersh came to talk to him about Zach's brain or something.
So, which is fair. So I walked by to come into the suite, and I was like, "Oh, look, it's Mike Gersh and Zach."
Yeah. And Zach asking.
And Zach just casually chatting him up outside. And there's a go get Zach. We'll get Zach in a minute.
He was doing great. You could tell that they had some type of rapport going on. The picture, and we should tweet it out, but the picture is Zach's just kind of leaning against the table, kicking it, and Gersh looks so into what he's saying. It might just be like a fool thing where no one really knows exactly what's going on, so he's like, yeah, this is really fun. But it was cool. We've got pictures of it, so.
Yeah, so Zach talked to Gersh. The rest of us only got John Mozeliak as a group.
Yeah,
but,
and Bill DeWitt the third, too,
yes,
which there was some interesting stuff there.
Yeah, so ask us questions. Or share your
Yeah.
favorite... I got nothing.
Yeah, where's Cardinals gifts at? This is...
Yeah,
I'm
gifts.
incapable
Where
of
you
doing
at?
anything on my own. I need gifts to literally hold my hand through the entire experience.
I even told him this was coming so that he would be ready for it, and he's still not here.
Did you know Kyle used to have hair? I don't know if anyone knows that. We try to show pictures every once in a while, but... Ooh, what is it? Cardinals gifts.
The pain guy is now following me on Twitter.
Yes.
So
that's got to be one of my people.
Mission accomplished.
Are we concerned about Wayno? I'm not as concerned as I would have been years ago if they didn't have Jack Flaherty there to call up.
We are watching the game. There's a TV right in front of us, and it's there's plenty of baseball to be played.
Yeah, out of the inning. They just got out of the inning.
See, we're paying attention.
It seems like Michael is
he's got
pitching
it.
well. Oh.
the sound just came on.
So yeah,
well.
it got really loud in here. So one thing I will say, we were talking about the food.
Right.
I just had some brisket, and they've got shrimp. The shrimp is incredible. There's like 4 different kinds of sausage in there, which is incredible. Everything
what was the whiskey one?
There was one it's like whiskey something sausage, and I tasted more sausage than whiskey. I'm not too particularly happy about that, but it was still really good. Everything at the stadium, everything that they prepared for us is incredible.
Everything's always good, and they're so amazing. Side note, you haven't had the brownies yet.
Oh no.
I come back every year for the brownies.
Do you? It's the dessert thing. You love
Right.
the dessert.
Right.
I've conquered the one side of the buffet.
Yeah.
And then later on, I've got to conquer this side of the buffet.
So let me see.
So we have 2 suites, one on that side and this one here. And there's food all along on both of them. And then the game, obviously. We are sort of paying attention to the game.
We thought we'd chat with you lovely folks first, and then hit the other side of the room.
Yeah, so 2 sides, food galore, drinks galore. We got a little bar out there, which is incredible. Beer in here and delicious
And
soft
us.
drinks.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and
what more do
us.
you
And
want?
people pretty well just staying away from us now that we've decided to...
We turned the camera on and everyone left.
Yeah, Daniel was here a little while, and then Daniel's
I thought
gone.
he was gonna hang
and
out, but
we had questions for Zach.
There you go, Graham.
Oh, what
Is
did Graham say?
Mendoza as boring as his prospect?
Oh
report?
God, Jesus, Graham, go find something to do. You've got like a sophomore science project. You got to like build a volcano or something, brother. I don't know what sophomores in high school do, but you go do that.
So one thing, this is what we call in the biz. We call it tease. We were really excited because we were going to do an interview with Jordan Hicks' parents today. So they were in town. They got to watch him pitch yesterday. I got to watch him Ballpark Village question. Remember that?
Ooh.
So they got to see him get his first win yesterday. We were going to chat with them after the game today for a podcast, and they ended up having to leave town. But that is coming up. We're gonna do a phone conversation with them coming up. So if there's anything you guys want to know about Jordan Hicks, hit us up.
Yeah, and Mo today in the little Q&A, Mo, when someone asked him about Jordan Hicks, he lit up. Yeah, that's right. The lovely and talented Tara asked about Jordan, and he said he could talk about Jordan for an hour. Mo is very much bullish. We asked about in the question Tara asked was about his future. Mo kind of volunteered that right now it's very much in flux if he's going to be a reliever or a starter. They're really happy with what he's doing now. So
I loved the story that he told though about. So I asked basically, why do you take the risk putting him on the opening day roster? And he basically said that after he shut down the Nationals, he was talking to Yachty, and Yachty was like, "Listen."
Yeah.
He said. His quote was basically, "Give me the wheel. Like, I'm gonna drive this bus, and we're gonna see where we go with it."
Yeah.
So it really was Yachty basically being like, "I want to see how far we can go, and I want to see what this kid can do. So let me do this."
Yeah.
And that was it.
And if it wouldn't have worked out, they would have sent him down, and it wouldn't have been a big deal. But he's taking the reins and is going crazy with them right now.
Yeah.
Like, he's a talk of baseball. I was DMing back and forth with his dad, and he's a sensation. People are joking around about the Aroldis Chapman filter, or the Adolis Chapman filter, as John Mozeliak called it. The Aroldis Chapman filter, and it's now the Jordan Hicks filter.
Yeah,
He's
it's pretty cool.
An
And
overnight sensation.
It's cool to see how excited they are about it. Like, it's one thing to sit back from the outside looking in and be like, "This kid's amazing," but it was cool hearing Mo be like, "No, this kid's amazing."
Yeah, and he did. When you asked the question, he lit up. He lit up right away. You can tell. I think Mo's beyond the point where he's so worried about hiding what's going on.
Hold on. In the park, home run.
How about that Kolten Wong?
Oh, you want to know about Kolten Wong? There was a Kolten Wong question.
Yeah.
Let me just.
I'm so happy.
He just needed me to be here. He just needed me to be here. All Kolten Wong needed was for me to be in the building.
That's it. We gotta get Tara an apartment over at Ballpark Village. We'll let you move into that demo home.
I'm taking donations for me to live here now, and you all can donate, to the cause.
That's a big home run too against their ace, their best pitcher. He struggled a little bit this year, but that's a really big home run. Good for Kolten. Let's get him fired up. I know people were talking about his launch angle right now.
Everyone's tweeting and texting me about Kolten Wong's home run right now.
You are the representative
Everyone
for the Kolten Wong fan club.
Yes, I love it. I love that it's very on brand for Kolten Wong to do that for me
Yes.
today.
Yeah, and now it's time for everyone else to get back on his bandwagon and hopefully it keeps hitting.
This is how you find out Periscope is about 45 seconds ahead of MLB TV.
Oh, wow.
Just so now you got to enjoy that fully, right?
Yeah, you get to sit down and watch it because you know what's happening
So
now.
that always happens to me on Twitter because I'll watch on Fox Sports Go and it's always like 3 pitches behind.
Yeah.
So we'll be in like
It's so
the
terrible.
group DM on Twitter and I'll find out what happens and I'll be like, oh cool, I guess I get to watch that now.
Yeah, I have Sling TV, and
Yeah.
and that's a minute behind. And the one time we were doing the game, everyone was giving me the updates before it. I hate that. You sit there and you're like, oh, okay.
Attaboy. Colton,
But you should definitely sit down and watch Kolten Wong hit that home run.
Yeah.
It should be coming up right about now.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
See, I should have taken advantage of that and been like, guys, you asked me about Colton. Here's my prediction.
Yeah, we really screwed the pooch there.
Oh man, the excitement got the best of me. What were we talking about?
Somebody asked a question about Ballpark Village.
Yes, Ballpark Village. You can live there. Not yet. Not yet.
I mean, I'm sure there are people over there living. I
Right.
just don't know, not paying rent per se.
Right. We should go over there and check out the demo unit.
I'd like
Shoot
to.
some video if they'll let me. I mean,
I'm sure they
will.
would. They're proud of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, I probably, certainly, most definitely can't afford to live there. But if I could, it'd be pretty cool. No, but they talked a lot about that. I believe the word that Mr. DeWitt used was hip.
Oh,
It's
God.
going to be hip.
Mo called us peeps at one point.
Yeah.
It just kind of like flew over everyone's head. And Adam Butler and I from the River
tweeted about it. I tweeted it out. I
Did
was
you?
like, it was about Reyes, and he was like, here's the good news, peeps.
I was like, what the heck? I started giggling.
I was dying. So Peeps and the Phase 2 of Ballpark Village is going to be hip.
Yeah. They're really stuck in the 1970s around here. But
I think that he thought the room was a lot younger than it is.
Yeah, that's for sure. Because he kept, they reference us as being kind of like millennial aged, and I mean that's the first time I've been called young in 100 years. So
I'm not sure if it's a compliment to be called a millennial at this point,
Yeah.
but maybe he thinks we're a lot younger than him.
yeah, cool
I'll
stuff,
take it.
I guess.
I'll take it.
One way or the other.
What else stood out about Ballpark Village?
Well, he kind of ranted on and on. All the information about Ballpark Village has already been presented to us, it seems like, and right now they're just saying everything is going as planned. Talked about some of the improvements that they made in the stadium. They're really happy with that right field terrace thing. They think they've had good returns on that early. That's positive. But other than that, one thing Zach asked a question to Mo about and got an answer about was the Cardinals are working on building a pitching lab, similar to what Driveline
Which
does.
sounds pretty fantastic.
Yeah, and that's big news. I know Steel Cup of Joe, when Zach ended up telling Joe about it, it really piqued Joe's interest, but it was really, really interesting. That's right. It was really, really
No,
interesting.
you're supposed to go behind and photobomb.
Yeah. But instead of like contracting out
Oh, look,
Driveline.
Zach joined us from outside.
Hey, Zach, we've been meaning to ask you questions, and we've been asking you, but you haven't answered
This
them.
whole Birds on the Black team Periscope
Yeah.
is one man short.
Zach, I'm willing to adopt Adam in your place. I mean, he's right over here lingering. If you don't come in here and answer our dumb questions, we're going
We're
to take
trying to talk about the pitching lab, but you should really be the one talking about the
Yeah,
pitching
because
lab. So
I hear pitching lab and I fall asleep. I don't really know what's going on. And also, we want to know we want to ask you questions about the Gersh interview, dummy. So get on in here.
You can't have a 30-minute conversation with Mike Gersh and then not tell us about it.
Yeah, and you're gonna have to come in here and be loud too, because no one's gonna be able to hear you if you're not at least a little loud. He's not gonna come in.
Nope. He probably doesn't even have the sound on.
No.
He's just watching us
No.
and he has no idea that we're talking about it.
Yeah, he doesn't have the sound on. He said the other night he fell asleep while watching Prospects After Dark, and I was like lulling him to sleep in his ear. I kind of like that. That's one of the many services I offer.
It's like a bedtime story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a bedtime nightmare. Bedtime card.
We are periscoping.
Yeah.
Do you want to be in our Periscope?
Jump on in here. Introduce yourself to the
Diane,
folks.
everyone.
I'm Diane1611 on Twitter, Diane Schultz, Women Who Love Cardinals Baseball. Glad to be here to see everybody today and go Cards.
What about the Mo interview stuck with you?
Oh,
Like,
I
what was the
enjoyed
one
it.
thing that you still think about?
I'm not really sure,
Okay.
but I really liked it. I'm surprised he still wants to meet with us after
The harsh criticism that would
Well,
come.
not only that, but he's moved up in the hierarchy now, and it's like, oh, he gets to come see the hoi polloi here, But I think he really enjoys talking to us.
I think he really enjoys it too.
He called it an unofficial report card when
Yeah.
he gets to talk to us, which
Yeah.
I thought was well put. But I do think it's interesting. I feel like he in some weird way values what we have to say about this team.
Yeah, and he didn't wear any funky socks today like he has in the past.
I didn't pay any attention.
Yeah, usually in the past he's worn some really funky looking socks, odd colors, patterns, and stuff. Today's was pretty conservative.
Do you think he was trying to tip us off that things are status quo?
I don't know. It's hard to say, but it looked a lot better. It wasn't garish. You weren't focused on his socks. You were focusing on what he was saying, which is
There you
better.
go.
You're right. I was looking for a bow tie and socks, and I didn't get either.
I always feel a little strange about John Mozeliak without a bow tie.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem
I
right,
don't know how I
does
feel
it?
about that.
Yeah, I guess John Mozeliak without a bow tie is party mode, and then like that's like business and
Right.
party, like the mullet.
Yeah.
That's his mullet. I don't know. The businessman's
comes
mullet.
Dennis.
Yeah. Jump on in,
you wanna
Dennis.
Photo bomb. There it is.
Dennis,
There it is.
Introduce yourself, brother. Tell them who you are. Let them know what's going on.
Periscope.
Hi, my name's Dathan Brooks.
From what was
I
the
don't think
website?
so.
What was the website?
Oh, it's Dathan Brooks, birdpoop.com.
Bird poop.
Bird. Yeah, that was.
That was how we.
That was great.
So, for those of you youngins who
Yeah.
haven't been around for however many years, once upon a time,
Zach is 10.
he. So for Zach, once upon a time, he asked as Dathan if he could borrow Mo's office. What was it to Wigington? Yeah, Ty Wigington.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You did. It was
So
hilarious.
his question in the Q&A was, can I borrow your office to trade or release or whatever it was, Ty Wigington?
Yes, that was hilarious.
The answer, for the record, was no.
Although Wigington didn't last much longer.
No,
No, he
the
didn't.
point was made, but he did it under someone else's name, so
Brilliant.
no one
Well
will
done,
know.
sir.
Yeah.
Joke's on everyone. My name's not Kyle Reese. Ha!
Who knew? Keep you guessing.
Yeah.
Keep everyone guessing.
Daniel. No,
I
Daniel.
still haven't seen gifts, by the way.
Oh no, he's probably getting high or something. More than likely, there's sleep. Let's see. He's in Arizona, so it's almost
Oh, is
1.
that where he lives?
It's almost 1 o'clock.
But he was
which means
responding to my Twitter
Well,
messages.
it's nap time for gifts. He sleeps until noon, and then he's awake for about 45 minutes, and then he takes a nice little siesta.
His
And
real name then, Dennis?
no, his real
No.
name is Gifts.
Yes.
It's
Gifts.
Cardinals Gifts. Is his
I
actual.
don't
First
think
name
so.
Cardinals,
Yeah.
last name Gifts.
Yeah.
Carrie, find out what's going on with gifts.
Yeah. Somebody go
Yes,
wake
I was
Gifts
hoping
up.
he'd be here.
Yeah, he couldn't
not
make it
here.
happen. He's hoping for next year if we're allowed back after that. But he, yeah.
We miss you, Cardinals Drift.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We miss you.
Which brings up a conversation we had internally at Birds on the Black if it's GIFs or GIFs, and it has to be
Heated debate.
It has to be GIFs, even though it's technically GIFs because then it's Zach Gifford, and we can't have Zach Gifford. It's Zach Gifford.
So what I'm hearing is that this is all Zach's fault,
It's everything Zach's fault
and he has no idea because he's not in
because he's
it.
watching us creepily with everything muted.
He just wants to make sure that his view gets counted. That's all he's worried about.
Thank you,
So
Zach.
thumbs up, Zach.
Yeah,
Keep
well
it up.
done. Way to represent.
Keep not watching us.
I do wish Joe was here.
I know.
He's got he had to
Oh,
work.
there he is. We have a
Cardinals
gift sighting.
Yeah.
We have a gift sighting.
We're doing this for you,
Not
Gifts.
Joe.
Yeah, Joe's putting together Vicodin prescription and periscoping this nonsense.
I
Joe
mean,
doesn't work at my
it's fine.
schools.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm in Illinois,
Well
so he
done,
definitely
Carrie.
doesn't work at my
Well
shows.
done.
Thank you, Carrie. You're the
What's
best.
up?
Oh,
Cardinals gifts. Everyone misses you.
So I'll ask Daniel, who is sitting across from us, C70, Daniel Shoptaw. What stuck with you other than the question that you asked him? Like, what stuck with you about the Mo conversation? What's the one thing that's still going on in your head?
Yeah, that's why I tape it so I can go back and do it later.
He touched on Alex Reyes, which is something important.
Thanks to Mr. DeWitt III.
Yeah.
No one else asked about it.
screwed that.
But it was very interesting, I guess, also the Hicks discussion. And as you've said before, or I think maybe a couple people have, the fact that Yachty has so much influence on that decision. One, yeah, okay, I get it. He's almost like a pitching coach. Two, flip side of that is, should Yachty or Molina be coach, manager, GM, and a player?
Is
I
he the
mean,
closest thing to a modern day coach player
Yeah.
that we
he
have?
would be
and it may very well be. At least.
Oh, hi.
Hi, what's up? If Mike Matheny were to get Brian Priced,
no.
would Yachty or Molina be the interim
Oh, God,
manager?
that'd be great. I love that so much. They name like Okendo or Mike Schilt, and really it's just Yachty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yachty doesn't even like wear his uniform
Right.
anymore. He just
What's the joke that Yachty's going to take Mike's job for a second time?
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah.
So, suddenly the lineup cards are in Yachty's handwriting,
Yeah.
and Okendo just hands them to the umpire. Anyway, continue.
No, I think that's about it. I mean, there was and then there was Zach's. Which
I
none of us
shared video
understood.
of, so if you haven't seen Zach's question, go
Yeah.
to my Twitter and watch it.
I mean, there's lots. I mean, there's
Try to
yeah.
understand it.
Yeah.
Very few people will.
That's
But
right. Not me.
the best thing. People, you have to see the video with Zach. Now, I find myself and the guys on the Redbird Daily, they know. I find myself completely fascinated by it.
those guys.
Yeah, those guys. Adam Butler, Rusty, whose name? Rusty, how do you pronounce your last name? Grapple. I go back and forth with the grapple gropple. It just depends on how physical I want to be.
Where is Buffa, by the way?
Oh
What's their
yeah.
last name?
Technically,
He's not a blogger.
Not a
That's
blogger
true.
anymore. He
That's
is
true.
a-
He's a Uber driver extraordinaire.
Yeah, he's lined up waiting for all of us to take us all home.
Carpenter
Somebody
down
said,
now.
did we ask about Mike Maddox? Well, I was gonna ask that, but then Daniel asked that, and then Mo yelled at him.
Yeah.
He basically was like, well, it would be weird for me to tell you if my plan wasn't working.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
And then at that point, we all kind of like cowered near the brisket, and we're just scared.
So Jordan Hicks.
I mean, obviously there are things in that situation that do not, that haven't worked the way he expected them to.
You mean like Mike Maddox not having control of
And I
anything?
don't know if it, I mean, probably, but, Mo's not going to tell stuff. But he's definitely not, and he may not have necessarily known how it's going to work. For all the talk of pitching coordinator and all this kind of stuff, it's kind of it's kind of like him being the operations. He's trying to figure out where the lines are.
Yeah, so we afterwards made an interesting correlation that John Mozeliak was saying that he hasn't really done a good job of we cowered near the brisket. Well, it's true.
My entire life story, if I could cower near brisket, I would gladly do that.
Oh, I forgot about the tacos. They're pulled pork tacos.
With Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola sauce. Yachty or Molina with another hit on the
2
day.
hits on the day.
Because Yachty, that's all he does.
Carpenter getting on base
This is
before
like
him
the
too.
most ADD Periscope of all time.
No, this is still more tame than Prospects After Dark. Like,
Well, I didn't say it wasn't tame. Just saying like the. What was I saying? Oh.
ADD. I don't know.
So, no, Mo was talking about how he has had a little bit of a hard time adjusting to the new role because he still wants to do everything,
Yeah.
basically. So, we decided that John Mozeliak and Mike Gersh is basically Mike Matheny and Mike Maddox.
Yeah, and we joke around about it, but it's true. If you take a step back and you look at their relationship and how it's panned out so far, it's right on par with that. You have the guy who's holding on to every little bit of control he has when he should be giving up some of it, and
He doesn't know how to delegate, in other words.
It's not happening yet. He's just not familiar with having to delegate.
I just think it's really so. As a noted control freak,
Yeah, that too.
it's a little bit hard to let go sometimes,
Yeah.
especially when you have certain ways that you, especially when you have certain. Hold on.
No.
Jose Martinez.
That'll advance the runner though. Carpenter will
well,
get the third.
it is Carpenter though, so.
Never
And then he slid
With
over
the worst
base.
slide in the history of Matt Carpenter.
That should not have been an interesting play. Like, it should have just been as straightforward as possible, but it's Matt Carpenter running the bases.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for keeping things interesting.
But the other thing to keep
hey,
in mind
what's up?
too, with Mo and Gersh, and also with Matheny and Maddox, is their systems that were already in place. Like, especially with Gersh and Mo, nothing changed. Their titles changed. People got promotions, but it's hard to adjust when all you're doing is changing your title. You know, if you're bringing someone in, which is the difference between Maddox and Matheny.
And especially in both these situations, you're creating a new job.
Yeah.
It's not that Mo took this spot over and this is what this job does. He's creating it on the fly, and so it's very hard to. Where are you going to draw that line?
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what their new roles look like is a bit of a process. So I feel like Mo kind of said like he's to the point where he's trying to not do everything, and I think that maybe eventually Mike Matheny will try not to do everything too.
We'll see. I feel like we already have had growth from. It wasn't that way at first, but we've already had a little bit of growth in how the pitchers. And that was one thing that Mo did talk about during the Q&A. He brought up Tyler Lyons yesterday. You know, they called on Tyler Lyons for 3 of the 4 lefties, and he didn't have it. But statistically, analytically, that's where you would go. That's who you would stick with. So sure, you could have pulled Lyons, patron pitcher. You could have pulled him. But they went with the right move. They stuck with what the numbers say, and that is a very tone of the roost thing to do with your bullpen. And it's nice to see that we're starting to see at least a few signs that there is change in how the bullpen is.
To be fair, I feel like there have been a number of instances, especially in the last week or so, where in the past Mike would have stuck with a guy for another batter or two, and he hasn't, whether it's a starter or a reliever. You get to the 9th, and all of a sudden Jordan Hicks is in trouble, but there was somebody ready in the bullpen if there needed to be, which is a little bit of a change. It was Greg Holland, so take that for what it is.
Yeah.
But you just joined. What are we talking about? We are...
Whatever you want to talk about.
What do you want us to talk about?
Wait a minute, it'll change.
Oh, run scored. I actually don't know what just happened.
Looks like a bad fielder. Shannon's
You're
about ready to.
probably wondering where I'm at, so bye everybody.
Bye,
See
Diane.
you later. Hi, Cardinals GIFs.
Yes.
Come on now.
Come on.
We talked about this.
Come on, man.
Okay, so hold on. I need to see what happened here. Pause.
Bad. Oh, he bobbled it.
Castillo
Trying to barehand
tried
and
to
throw.
go home.
Bad stuff. I don't know. I felt like we got a decent amount of information. Last year, you could tell that there was tension. Like, not like a lot of tension, but you could tell that there was a little bit of unease.
Well,
like
3 and 9 will do that to you.
When we were here last year,
It was a little later last year, right, too?
Yeah, it was the Sunday after the big the firing conference.
Oh,
so it would have
that's
been
right.
like the 17th.
You know, it was right before that. Maloney was gone.
Cardinals gifts is my alter ego when I drink too much.
Cardinals GIFs.
Oh, Cardinals gift. That's right. Yeah, we'll get you a T-shirt made up.
So, last year there was a lot of drama at that point in the season because of the 3 and 9 start. I wasn't here, and we've established that I need to be in the building for Kolten Wong to play well.
It's Paul DeYoung coming through.
Paul DeYoung twice, 2 at-bats. He has not hit a home run or struck out. I don't know how to process it.
Obviously, I don't either, since that's what I said. It's all he
know.
does.
Yeah.
He doesn't do anything.
Cardinals gifts. People are asking about your real name. I want you to know that, and we are holding steady that your first name is Cardinals gifts. Or GIFs.
First name Cardinals.
But we're not
last
telling him
name
your
Gifts.
real name, and it's important that you know that your people are here to protect you.
We got
We
your
are
back,
telling
Gifts.
everyone that you're getting really super high all the time, though. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
And to be fair, Joe kind of let the cat out of the bag last night. So
Yeah,
these guys are protecting you. Joe,
Yeah.
on the other hand, that guy is out of control.
Joe's trying to put us in between the two of
He
you.
also was telling people that I threatened him, which, for the record, did not happen.
Yeah, Joe's a rabble rouser. Don't let anyone fool you.
Did not happen.
Joe's a rabble rouser.
Mr. Gifts. There we go.
Yeah,
How's that?
yeah.
Mr. Gifts.
The other thing that we kind of talked about via DM and also a ways down the road, I would think, but we would like to have some type of Birds on the Black night where we all kind of meet up, and I think that'd be a really
Gotta
cool
get
thing.
this merch thing
Yeah, I can't
going
wait.
on.
I love my beanie. I almost wore my beanie today.
It's pretty sweet.
I love that thing.
So once we get that going, we should have a Birds on the Black night. You guys can come and meet us and see how awkward we are in real life.
It's a disaster.
It's really terrifying. But we're awkward together, so
Yeah,
it works out.
It's actually great. It's so awkward that Zach won't even take part in it. Like, Zach's out there watching
Let me
this
just
thinking.
hold on. Show them where Zach is sitting. Zach
Excuse me, Tara.
is right there.
On the way, ground ball foul, just down the left field line.
I was hoping he'd turn around.
And Cardinal third base coach, Jose Oquendo.
They want to see if you can hit that fastball inside when you first come to the big show. Once you show them that, you just say, okay.
That's all you get. That's all you get. The awkward, go away, leave me alone wave.
Zach's last day as a member of Birds on the Black right there.
He's like, I'm out.
He's
handle
basically in
you
the Cardinals
people.
organization now.
I know. He did spend a long time talking to Gersh. Solo. Like, it wasn't a group thing. Hold on. Nope. That's just a fly ball. It's Yachty.
I'm impressed by the delay. It's only like a second delay in between what's going on in the game and what's going on TV.
It's way better than the
Look at
delay
Tyler
on
O'Neill.
Tyler O'Neill and his, like...
That jersey doesn't fit him.
No. Is there a jersey that fits him?
No.
Do they make one that size?
That's actually 5XL.
Yeah.
And his arms are still bursting out of it.
I'm just trying to score some runs for the team.
But you gotta say it with a Canadian accent.
Yeah, I just want to be able to hit the ball into outer space.
Hey. Don't you know?
Mike Claiborne asked him about hockey, and he's like, yeah, I watch hockey. Like, he was just disappointed, like, all right, look, I'm Canadian. We get it.
He's probably like, oh, Zach's gonna come in and join us. The awkward behind, there he comes.
Oh, here he
There
comes.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. Kolten Wong's
Oh, wait, now we got to get Jif's lady here
Kolten Wong.
out of the way. Hi, Zach.
Wait.
I told you.
Zach Gibbard, everybody.
Yeah, I got the.
There's
Get in there.
a round of applause happening, I'm sure.
There's
This
hearts.
can't be-
Hearts are flying all over the place.
I'm sure.
So, Zach, tell us a little bit about what you and Mr. Michael Gersh talked about. But louder so that the audience can hear you.
Kind of a lot.
Do
Some
your
of
best.
it was just kind of normal. So he's a Notre Dame alum, which is where I just graduated from like a year ago. So we talked a little bit about that.
Did he call you bro at any point?
He did not call me bro at any point.
Failure.
So he talked a little bit about what he originally, when he was like applying for jobs, looking in, like trying to get into baseball, what he did, like the project he did that he sent around to a bunch of assistant GMs, which at the time for the Cardinals was John Mozeliak. And basically it was kind of like a draft pick valuation thing where he tried to assign, dollar values to certain parts in the draft. He said he sent that around to a bunch of teams, and then eventually, was just hoping, like, is it interesting enough to talk?
Yeah.
Like, trying to get a conversation, make it interesting. And so, talked about that, some StatCast stuff, how they use it, pitch tunneling a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead. No, sell Joe out on the Periscope. Let him know how dumb Joe is.
No, he's not. No, but Gersh definitely knows that Joe's a tunnel guy. So
Yeah.
so he sees that stuff. So that was pretty
Good news, he reads what Joe writes.
Yeah.
Bad news, he's not really a tunneling guy.
And
Take that for what you will.
One thing you walk away from in this weekend is you know that they really do like pay attention to the nonsense that we're writing and saying, which is a terrible idea, at least.
Yeah.
My standpoint, but
I feel like they would have much better things to do in their time.
yeah, like not do that.
They delegate that.
Yeah.
But that's
Is it good?
the interns. The interns have the task of just reading all of our stuff. And then,
I mean, that's
Some type of like clip show of Prospect After Dark. Like they cut down the hour and 20 minutes of Prospect After Dark into 6 seconds of this is the crap show that
Cards
just.
Gift said he heard me but didn't see me. Hi, Cards Gift. Here
Call
I
him
am.
Gibbs. He won't respond to
Hey,
Gibbs.
Gibbs. It's Diane. 1611. Good to see
We
you.
tried to bring up
Me
the
too,
analogy that should be
baby.
Zach Gifford and not Gifford,
no,
but
it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not.
I just got to figure out how he does that.
Oh, this is
That shows up. I can't get anybody to respond.
it's incredible, right? Yeah,
Put him in
it's
charge of the UCB, and then it'll be.
From what you were saying about them reading the stuff from like a serious point of view, like there's so much research being done for free by people like us, and so while a lot of times it's not gonna be useful.
what's up, Matt?
There are times where they're going to get ideas and say, it's something that we didn't think about, and now maybe
we're
maybe what you
periscoping.
did
Come
suck,
on
Yeah.
but it's worth doing what you did with better data. Like maybe I make a model that has 10 assumptions and 9 of them are crap, but the idea was overall talking about aging curves. Like you have to make a lot of assumptions in order to like make get an aging curve, and maybe like my assumption when I do it is like I kind of ignore injuries. It's like that's a dumb assumption. If you can find a way to model that in, now you can do some of that. So there's things they take.
I think it's super interesting. Like you said, just the thought that we are out there, we're almost giving them free information, and if they can take it in one way or the other, depending on how they delegate it or how they take it in, it's
which I actually think is one of the really cool things about this event that the Cardinals have done, because they do seem to pay enough attention that.
what does Holy Shield say? That's Holy Shield, isn't it? That's one of my people. Kyle needs to ask Mo an FMK question if given the chance.
Is that boring enough that it's ruining the
Am I
game?
boring enough that it's ruining the game?
Cards.
Jay told me not to nerd out on the question, and then I did anyway.
Listen.
It wasn't bad. I mean, they were.
No, it
everyone
was
making
good.
fun of you. No,
I'm sure they were.
no, it's not. It was a good question.
It was a great question. And it led to him talking about the pitching lab, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Pitching lab is a very big deal because right now, Driveline only has so many people and so many instructional videos. It's not tailored to specific
And that's actual
specific players. But,
real news too. Like,
and so that, the pitching lab is going to be very good because, from my perspective, we have your 3 best fastballs. You know, you can bring Alcantara back into this too. So 4 best fastballs over the last year. Martinez, Alcantara, Hicks, and Reyes, they all have spin rates that are under 2,200 RPM, and those are sinker. I mean, those are ground ball fastballs. And kind of the way the game's going, you're really trying to avoid contact and avoid having to pitch low in the zone. But those fastballs don't really play up in the zone. It's really hard for those guys to elevate the fastball.
Yeah.
And so if they can find something where, maybe Hicks throws, we don't really know what Hicks does, but let's say he's throwing a 2-seamer that hard because he can't get the spin on a 4-seamer. If they can do some kind of training to where they can get him throwing a 4-seamer at like 2,400 RPM, now that fastball is going to get a lot of whiffs if he can locate it up here.
and then to your point about the high spin rate fastballs, one of my favorite prospects is Ryan Helsley, and Ryan Helsley has one of the highest fastball spin rates, and he utilizes it well up in the zone. But where he struggles is now this year he's getting hit around, and he's not finishing his breaking pitches low; they're all high. So he's not doing a good job of sequencing his pitches or tunneling them, and he's utilizing the high spin rate fastball, but he's not doing enough with his other stuff. So,
And I thought, so when Mo was talking about Jordan Hicks, he brought up the contact rate and the strikeout rate thing that a lot of people have been talking about. But it's like they know that information is there. No, I think it's great. But it was interesting that he brought that up specifically in relation to Jordan Hicks, and he was basically like, so I know some of you think this is a problem, but they're aware of it, and they're, working with him, working with whatever their process is, and go ahead.
Like he said, it's like Hicks has to learn how to miss major league bats.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw in the minor leagues he didn't do it very well, but then there was a stint last year when he got pulled up to
Palm Beach.
Yeah. He ran a strikeout rate, I think that was closer to 25 or 30, which is more what you would expect. So, he learned, it seemed like at least for a period, how to do it at the minor league level. Now you have to force him. He has to learn on the fly at the major league level. Normally what you see is he learns how to miss AA bats, which that's a huge jump. And then he learns how to miss AAA bats, which are basically bad MLB bats. Yeah. And then you move up and you have all 3 levels of experience. Right now, he's basically got 2 pitches in the slider. He's not locating well enough to be a swing and miss pitch, but I think it'll get it.
Which is part of the risk that they took in putting him directly from A ball to the major leagues.
Yeah.
And as far as Yachty is concerned, who evidently is responsible for that decision, he feels like Hicks can make those adjustments at this level, and
or at the very least, Yachty can help the adjustments. Yachty can make the adjustments for Hicks.
So what we've established is that Yachty doesn't trust Carson Kelly as a catcher in the minor leagues.
That's how we jump to. That's how we do this. That's how we create controversy. Now somebody get on Instagram.
Yeah.
And start
I don't know what you call it on Instagram. It's not subtweeting.
I don't know. Subgramming.
Insta-subbing. Insta-sub. I don't know. Someone else figure it out.
I don't even know what it is, to be honest. So Cards asked a little while ago, who's the creepiest blogger that we've met? The lady who kept saying GIFs instead of GIFs, that was up there. She's right over there. No one's particularly creepy. I think I'm probably the creepiest. That's as far as, everyone's kind of...
Zach's like, yeah, no, that's right.
Everyone's kind of normal. Everyone's kind of normal.
Too.
Take a selfie before we go. That can definitely happen.
Is that GIFs?
No, that was Carrie. But
hi, Carrie.
GIF said, what was the biggest piece of information that you got from the
biggest
chat? Was it the pitching lab development stuff, or was it something else?
The biggest piece of development, or the biggest piece of information that we received, we talked about earlier, but you marooned us on this island, GIFs, left us alone from the get-go when you wanted this so bad. No, the pitching lab is probably honestly like the biggest set of news. I asked about Mo's role and how it's changed. He said that he's still a little bit over-controlling of what Gersh does, and I get the impression it really hasn't changed, even though he hoped it would. But it's at his own his own fault for it. But what else?
I think the pitching lab's the biggest thing. Kind of getting on the kind of leading edge of sort of that technology. I mean, you see Driveline using Trevor Bauer's kind of the main guy at the MLB level doing that. So I think getting out ahead of that and learning how
Cards. It was great.
learning how you can implement that level, that granular level of data in your scouting and in like your prospect development is going to be important, because they have this stuff in other leagues. The Japanese league has StatCast data. It's not called StatCast there.
I do wish
it's TrackMan data there. I think at least there's hit effects, field effects, and pitch effects, at least across the minor league level in most stadiums, if not all of them. And so, like, learning how you take this granular level of data that we're finding out is very useful at the MLB level, and seeing how that translates up the ladder, starting in the low levels of the minor leagues and through, so you can try to project players and then try to teach things that normally people haven't thought. Like, you can change how you spin a fastball, you can change how you spin your curveball, or you can change how the pitch flight looks out of your hand. Learning how to train those things as guys come up through the minors, I think, can lead to a lot more efficient development. And then when you get to the MLB level, a lot more efficient kind of roster construction, payroll efficiency, and things like that. So, and those are all important for constructing like a long-term winning team.
It's a big step into the future for the Cardinals, trying again to be on the cutting edge of the next baseball revolution. Last year, Mo talked about virtual reality. It got brought up very, very passingly this time, but I don't know. I think that's probably the other next wave of baseball technologies.
You would think that would help with like pitch recognition.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
I think Stanford in college football is one that for their quarterbacks they use virtual reality so that they can get the reps and without taking hits and things like that, and without putting too many throws in their arm. And so I think for now Grichuk's gone, but for a guy like Grichuk, maybe he needed to see just sit with virtual reality and try to recognize pitches for the first 40 feet of their flight or wherever the decision making point is, which is like, I don't know if it's 23 or 24 feet. I don't know if it's out of the hand or from the plate. That would be a joke question, but
man, I don't know. I want to say it's out of the hand. It's not out of the
I think it's got to be out of the hand. So trying to for the first, give him like 25 feet to figure out what pitch is this, using virtual reality, and you can do that all the time, and you can see how many is he getting right. And so I think that would be important to do from, if MLB teams do start using virtual reality, I think that's the first point you would see it. You might see it with outfielders trying to kind of train the first step, and I don't think you could do route efficiency with virtual reality, but training the first step would be important. So there's definitely applications.
For 1,000 years, one thing that has stayed true with baseball is playing center field. It's hard to get a read on balls that are hit with a certain amount of spin. You sit in a virtual reality machine and learn. Hey, Jeff Jones, how are you, sir? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you.
We're just
we're doing a little periscoping.
What's up?
What did Bader do? I was in the elevator.
We missed it. We're talking like jackasses.
Thank you.
There are things happening. Sorry. Trying to keep score while you're wandering around the stadium.
Jeff, I don't know if you remember this. You and I have actually done a radio show together.
Have we really?
Yeah, the changing station.
You were in that night?
Yeah.
Oof,
crazy, right?
That was a radio.
There you go.
Radio
Periscope's telling you it was a base hit.
Thank you.
By the way.
I appreciate it. There's not a TV in the elevator, which seems crazy.
There should definitely be, or at least
there's no radio either?
No.
Yeah.
It's dead quiet in there.
Bader singled. Now there are a bunch of people telling you that it was a Harrison Bader single.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ryan Schul, what's up? Hello, wonderful people. JCPenney's is
Oh,
texting
hey.
me.
JCPenney's is giving Tara $10 off today, I think.
What?
Yeah, big day.
Shopping.
Big day. Free food and $10 off at JCPenney's. So
what else is there to say?
So that I know my people are gone. Like they're hibernating until tomorrow. Yeah. Yes,
Cards was making fun of my shirt.
Was he?
Oh yeah, he was making fun of your
Yeah,
shirt.
sorry, Cards. I was traveling. I haven't been to my apartment.
Don't
since-
apologize to Cards.
I haven't been to my apartment
apologize to
since
Cards.
last Sunday. I traveled to Cleveland and then came here and forgot to pack clothes to come here. So here we are with the Bland shirt. I wore a jersey yesterday, a knockoff Oscar Tavares jersey.
It was very nice.
Zach look handsome. You're fine,
It was
Zach.
like $23 through AliExpress.
Oh. And if you would have got the $10 JCPenney gift certificate that Tara just got.
If you would have waited till today, I could have given you a, discount thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's probably what we took from the Mo interview. And then with Bill DeWitt, it was just kind of a recap of what happened, what's going on with Ballpark Village, all that stuff. He didn't really get into too much detail. Talked about the shift, his view on the shift. Talked about being aggressive about pace of play rules. They're all on board for the change of pace of play. They want to get it under 3 hours, and that's where their concern is. That's where their concentration is, and they're willing to try different things to make it happen.
Sorry, Castillo just walked the pitcher, which is like
Who was trying
to bunt. This is like
That poor kid's really struggling.
So two pet peeves. One is popping up a bunt.
Yeah.
Two is walking the pitcher.
Yeah, walking the first batter.
Gifts. Someone asked about shortening the season. Mo said that Graham. Yes, it's still going.
Go to bed, Graham.
No one's forcing you to be here.
It's 2 hours past your bedtime.
What was I talking about? Shortening the season. Mo said he doesn't think it would ever be shorter than 154 games, but that it's not something that's going to happen soon.
Revenue's an issue.
Yeah, revenue's an issue, but he also thinks that the season seems to get longer and longer, and it's hard on the body. And so several people have suggested doubleheaders. I don't think players are going to want to do that. I don't think that teams are going to want to do that, and I certainly know from a broadcast perspective, no one likes working doubleheaders.
Yeah, long days. I know ushers hate the doubleheaders as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, a lot of standing, a lot of moving, just a lot.
And going back to Bill DeWitt, it is interesting they continue to put $10 million or plus into the ballpark every year.
Yeah.
It's something we don't factor in a lot of times.
What did he say? He said that they're in the top third in payroll, but they're also in the top third in their capital improvements budget.
Yeah.
You would expect that they would be. I don't know the measure, but
Everything
For
about
the
the
fan
organization
experience.
is about the top third.
Yeah.
But that also means you're not going to get an Atlanta situation,
Mm-hmm.
a Texas situation where you're going to try to get the ballpark. They're putting into this so they'll stay.
Yeah.
So, and when
Which
you've
is
got-
good because it's
when you've
great.
got- and when you've got that stuff of south across the way,
Yeah, I was gonna say also they've sort of built
Yeah,
like
you're
the
kinda stuck.
entire 6-block radius
It's true.
to stay here.
It's their compound now. It's the
There's-
Cardinals
there's no
compound.
moving.
And the only other thing is we had to ask about. I always ask about the blue hats on the road. Gotta have the blue hats on the road. And he's not about that, but he is on board with potential
That's who was talking.
80s powder blues in some capacity in the future.
Yeah.
Did you ask Bill the Third about the hats on the road?
Yeah.
Because Bill the Third is the big red hats on the road.
I know,
Yeah.
that's why. I even prefaced it in the
You want to know, you get background history that you may know, you don't know. The reason we are here is because back in 2009 or 10, we did an interview with Bill DeWitt. We got him lined up and did an interview on UCB Radio. And one of the things that came out of that interview was his discussion, because right around the time they did the blue hats, and he was talking about the red hats and all that kind of stuff. At the end of that interview, I asked him about having a blotter night.
That's
And so
awesome.
it's kind of come around. So it's very interesting that you're
I
talking
asked that
about the
question.
hats that from when that original interview was part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So he didn't say that the baby blues are coming back. He said that they could introduce it in some sort of special capacity, but he also said we don't want to be that team that wears different jerseys every
Yeah,
night.
91 different combinations of uniforms.
Which I think is fair. Also, he doesn't like the MLB specialty jerseys, which I appreciate because
Yeah.
I think they're kind of gimmicky and
Little
silly.
overkill.
Can I tell you what's weird about those for the Cardinals,
Yes.
especially? The nameplate on the back of the specialty jerseys is the non-outlined
Yeah.
name. It's weird, right?
It is
It's just
weird.
like the block lettering. Like, just put the regular lettering and outline it. It would look the same, but instead
Yeah,
they
I
change
just-
the font. It's not good.
He even kind of alluded to that. He hates the way that the birds change and everything.
He was like, I don't know why we need. He was very, very clear
Yeah.
on saying that he appreciates all of the causes that these jerseys represent, but birds in camouflage, it's not a big fan of.
I don't know how many people buy them. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the profits go to the charities that are great with law.
Yeah.
But
I feel like they do giveaways with.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, auctions and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
You know, the 42 ones, I know that.
Yeah, those are awesome too.
Yeah.
I do love those.
But that's
Yeah.
just saying what it's the same uniform.
Right, it's just a number.
It looks right and gray. Like when they're on the road, I love
Yeah.
when they're on the road for Jackie Robinson Day. Just I don't know, it just looks.
Ooh, gifts. We didn't tell them about that.
Ooh, what?
About changing the birds. logo.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ah. So other than that, I think that pretty well covers what went
What's
over.
our view of the field?
Yeah.
Pitch on the way, swinging, fouls that one off.
That's our view of the field.
It's a pretty awesome setup. It's pretty great in here. This is really about as great of an experience as you can get for just being a blogger. Not all of us have that fancy little press pass.
It says talent, which makes me feel
Are you
very bad.
talent?
Look at that.
I'm really not talent. I think, honestly, they had the wrong card stock in the printer when I got printed.
They didn't want to redo it.
Because it's literally, it's me and the TV guys are the ones that say talent. I'm like, I'm not on.
You should find a way to take advantage of that.
But the thing is, I don't even know what I could do aside from be on TV. I don't want to do that.
Well, you're on Periscope now.
That's true. I'm on mobile TV.
Yeah, yeah.
If you watch me excitingly fill out my scorecard.
We are. Scorecard happening live.
You do it in pen too. I give you credit for
I
that.
do it in pen. And for the most
Risky
part.
move.
Risky.
Well, so
Risky
here's,
move.
I can show you, hold on.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah.
You learn to hesitate pretty quickly. Here's what you also do.
We are.
Game Ben Zobrist with his back spasms.
Yeah.
Gets scratched 5 minutes ahead of time, so Ian Happ gets filled in there.
That's the worst.
Not great.
Way to go, Zobrist.
I do my little league one in pencil. I have to. Always. I can't do pens. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they won't let me have pens.
They won't let you have pens.
Only pencil. Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Because my arm's getting tired of holding the
Yeah.
phone.
You did fantastic there.
My arm is still not.
Oh God, no,
got,
God,
like,
no.
2 hours.
They make me go for like an hour and a half. Sometimes it's incredible. Like if I
It's
try
a lot.
to
It's a lot.
if I try to shut it down, like people freak out. So sometimes we gotta make it go long. And plus, I'm usually drinking, so it doesn't matter at that point. This is the most sober I've ever been for one of these.
Asks like 95,000 questions.
Yeah, it was just basically look at me more than anything.
Hey, Kyle. Hey,
Yeah.
Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Hey Kyle, will you play? Kyle, will you play catch? Kyle, what do you know about
Hey,
Brady
Kyle,
Line?
did you answer my question?
Yeah.
Hey,
that's-
what about my question?
And then I look at Twitter and I've got 45 different questions from him there too. But
Graham, we're just messing with you.
yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have anything else to throw on in there.
Anyone else want to, jump in?
You've already scared him enough with me.
Best thing you've learned about a blogger?
Nothing.
Kyle's a real person.
I'm a real person. I'm a real boy.
You can consider that, yeah. I wouldn't want to learn anything about a blogger.
No.
I try not to
There are
learn
more
things
people
about
who live outside of their parents' basements than I would have guessed. I just kind of assumed that most of us lived in our parents' basement.
I keep trying to wrap it up, and then
People
it's
ask
just,
questions.
we got to give the people what they want.
So that's it. Tara has a line of people who are here to talk to her. So we should probably shut this thing down.
There's a line
Tara's
for
got
me.
to ice down her shoulders. She just pitched 7 innings.
Feeling like a
And the
bad
medical
woman.
staff has got to work on her, so that's the problem.
Yeah, that's right.
She's not driving home tonight.
Okay, that's it. Will Tyler O'Neill's jersey explode before the game is over?
Yes, oh God,
probably.
yeah.
Kolten Wong hit a home run, so everyone leave me alone
Yeah,
for like a
there
day.
we go.
Okay, bye.
This was awesome. Thanks for playing. We'll see you
Bye,
guys later.
Gifts. We'll talk to you later. We miss you. Bye.